Let's talk about my favorite NBA basketball player, Ja Morant. I've been watching him since his Murray State days. I have him up on my wall. I own 3 jerseys of him, and I was about to go to Memphis until this whole situation went down. So we have to talk about it.
Make Ja Morant, make it very clear to him the gravity of this issue.
Wouldn't it be something if he goes from down and out to championship, or at least to NBA Finals? It's got a shot.
It'd be the greatest in-season turnaround in the history of sports.
Wouldn't it?
And many times people say sports are irrelevant, and I largely agree. They are really for entertainment, but there's some life lessons that you could pull from moments and situations as crazy as this whole thing went down. So Ja Morant is playing tonight, March 22nd, for the first time since March 2nd, after being suspended 8 games for conduct detrimental to the league and going on a whole therapy retreat in Florida. We'll get to what he did and all the other allegations. But I'm currently a fan of 3 teams. One is the Memphis Grizzlies from the NBA, mostly because of Ja. But now I'm a fan of Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams and Roddy, Big Body Roddy, and the Miami Dolphins. I love Tua first, so you fall in love with the individual players and their personalities. And then you have like Jalen Waddle on the Dolphins and Tyreek Hill. And then the third sports team I'm a fan of is the FSU football team. I love Micah Pittman. I love Johnny Wilson, seeing him a couple times in person at Chipotle. I love Jordan Travis. He seems just like a great, chill guy. So those are the 3 teams I'm a fan of. But we got to talk about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies because they are really the number 1 most hated team in the NBA right now. So before I get to Ja, I want to talk about Dillon Brooks for a second because, I mean, yes, he's surrounded by Bane, one of the greatest three-point shooters in the NBA. And then you have like Jaren Jackson, who's one of the best defensive players in the NBA, amazing at blocking, just will swat anything out of the air. But then you have Dillon Brooks, who has this super awkward shooting form. I'm pretty sure my shooting form looks better than his, and apparently it's been like getting worse over the years. He's still like a half decent shooter, but personally I have a love and hate relationship with him because as a Memphis Grizzlies fan, I think the ball should always be in someone else's hand. I think he should always be like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th option offensively. Because, I mean, I just prefer, like, Tyus Jones, like, creating something, or Bane trying to create something, or for sure Ja or Jaren Jackson to have the ball in hand. But he is this grind player, and, I mean, he got this technical for doing a little dance after a dunk, and I like that type of energy from players. It shows that you're having fun out there. And that's what really matters because, I mean, Ja is like over here grittying on the court after a shot, which is, I mean, it's all for the fun of the game. And then you have this moment, which I saw today for the first time.
Hey, Dylan, what's up with you, bro? Hey, Sharon, what's up with it? Sharon is Karen, man. Well, yeah, you got to pass that motherfucker. You did that cost us the motherfucking playoffs, bro. You hear me?
And show someone kind of with the same opinions I'm saying right now, go up to Dillon Brooks in person and tell him, bro, you need to pass the ball to your teammates. He definitely is a dog, and he's definitely confident in himself, and he's going to be who he is. And Ja Morant, even after this whole situation, he is going to be who he is.
It's a foot right inside my city.
So we have Dillon Brooks and his fashion. He is apparently a really good defensive player. I really can't tell if someone's a good defensive player or not, just like when Klay Thompson was this elite defensive player before his like 2 leg injuries. I can't really tell. I just hear it from other people, and I'm like, yeah, Dillon Brooks is totally a good defensive player. So we'll go with that. Now to Ja. So Ja has been facing like so many different like rumors and stories, but we'll get to the thing that actually happened, and that's over my voice right now, is that the Memphis Grizzlies paid the Denver Nuggets on March 2nd and lost. It was a road game. Take a look at their road record. Kind of concerning for one of the better teams in the NBA. It's atrocious. And Ja Morant was up at 5 or 6 a.m. at a club showing off the gun. To me, showing off the gun isn't the worst part of it. I guess you could say, like, oh, he's like promoting violence, and obviously you do not want to go in that direction. I mean, Ja Morant said this himself.
Well, the gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions. Made a bad mistake, and I can see the image that I painted over myself with my recent mistakes. But in the future, I'm gonna show everybody who Ja really is, what I'm about, and change this narrative that everybody got painted over me.
But to me, it's the whole fact that it's like mid-season, you just lost to the number 1 seed in the West by a whole bunch of points. You have a horrible road record. To me, it's like the lack of focus that you're partying and drinking at 5 or 6 a.m. when you really should be asleep and, I guess, watching film. Like, obviously, you could have fun and celebrate, but after a road loss to the number 1 team in the Western Conference, and it wasn't even close, that to me, as a fan of Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, just rubs me the wrong way. It was this event that he showcased live on Instagram that caused him to realize that he needed a break. And Ja Morant's been proclaiming that he's been trying to find himself and trying to cope with his anxiety and stress because he is a father, right? So he just has to take care of a daughter. And I'm sure being 23 years old with all that money, and apparently he's been like kind of involved with gangs, but he says this.
So now people going back to look at footage of you on the floor, and they're like, wait a minute, is Ja affiliated? Is he throwing up gang signs? Can you address some of those naysayers who are trying to portray you in that light?
I feel like, once again, my decisions, pretty much led to that. And now, with the, past decisions I made and, what's going on now, they try to find, pretty much anything on me. And, I put myself in those situations. No, I'm not affiliated with any gang. Like I said before, I don't condone any type of violence. And it's just pretty much on me to, from now on, to, be a better Ja and, stop that narrative.
And these are some more clips on what Ja has learned from doing therapy for a couple sessions in Florida. And before I roll those clips, I'll roll the clip of him saying, of course, it's an ongoing process to get better. You're always getting better. You're always learning from your mistakes. We're flawed humans, as I like to say, and we're always trying to improve for the better.
Ongoing process, continued process for me. Obviously, I've been there, for 2 weeks, but, that doesn't mean, I'm completely better. So, that's an ongoing process for me that I've still been continuing, since I've been out.
Whose decision was it?
And what did it teach you about yourself?
Just learning, I can open up. I can, express my feelings, and that it's, okay to be able to express your feelings. So, I was constantly, talking to therapists. I've been doing, Reiki treatment. I've been doing anxiety breathing, different stuff to, help me manage that and, release, all that stuff from my body. Me saying things, actions speak very louder than words. So that's my main focus now. Obviously, super excited to be back with my teammates. That's, the main thing right now. So right now for me, it's just, keeping the main thing, and continuing to, go through my process of, becoming, a better me. I feel like, if I do that, not only will it help me, but it'll help, everybody around me as well. After I made a, terrible mistake, being inside a club and, went live, I put myself in, a bad position. And also it's, my daughter. There's times where she even tell me if she's, had a bad day. And I feel like, if she can tell me that, then, I can be able to go and talk to somebody as well. I feel like it's just starting off by saying talk to somebody. You don't have to be afraid. It doesn't make you soft. It doesn't make you weak to, express your feelings to somebody. And I feel like that's what I had to learn, I always was the type to, keep everything in and bottle it up, not comfortable, talking to somebody about, what's going on in my life. And I feel like as a pro, some people don't realize that it's a lot on our plate. You for me being, I'm 23, I'm starting at a young age. Came in young, turned into a provider. I turned into a father, pretty much the breadwinner, of my family. So it's, it's a lot on my plate outside of, day-to-day life.
I hope Ja is authentic with his emotions right now and not trying to put on a fake personality that, I just needed some help to try and cover up all like the legal like mud that he's going through that actually might be true, even though he does deny all these allegations.
But all the incidents you've seen recently, most of them is a lie. And, I can't speak too much, on those situations because all of them are sealed. And
so some of the allegations we're talking about is that apparently a gun was pointed at the Pacers after a Memphis home game. Supposedly he fought a 17-year-old dude after a basketball event. Apparently he got into an altercation at the mall. So many of these random events, him being involved in a gang, his inner circle of friends being involved with gangs, all these rumors. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. So he kind of hints it himself that there's some truth to these rumors, but most of it is a lie and probably most of it is exaggerated. But still, Ja Morant, 23 years old, people look up to him.
Do you take pride in being a role model?
I do. And, I realize, I have a lot of kids, who look up to me, even, probably some adults, a lot of fans. And I realize, my past mistakes isn't being, a good role model. So, me now is, changing that, finding ways to, impact in an even better way, put a, bright light on, the younger future coming up to, show them, what not to do and, what to do. So just got to be better in that area, be more responsible, be smarter, and, make better decisions.
Ja Morant has to take responsibility for his actions. I feel like he is conducting himself as best as he can. With this moment, he's still going to be himself, as you should. But you just trim around your personality and slowly make changes over time for the better. And that's all you really can do. I'm still going to be a fan of Ja Morant, but he is kind of on thin ice right now. He said that he's not going to talk any more words. He kind of closed down his Twitter account for the last 2 weeks, but he opened it back up with a tweet today. And he said he's going to tweet less. And Ja Morant right now is in a improve his situation. He has to speak with his actions. I'm not talking about being the godly basketball player that he is. I'm just talking about off the court. I don't want to hear any more of these rumors. Apparently, a couple days before the incident with the gun at the club at 5 or 6 a.m., after the loss to the Denver Nuggets, Steven Adams had a players-only meeting talking about the lack of focus from all the Grizzlies players when they're on the road. And then Ja, a couple days later, does this. So I just don't want to hear any of those rumors anymore. I want Ja to be authentic, to be a good father, to be a good role model for me and all the other people out there, and have fun playing basketball and just improve his character off the court. That's what I want to see. People, of course, deserve second chances and more chances than that, because I don't want to fall into the trap of cancel culture and just say, oh no, I'm never going to watch Ja Morant or the Grizzlies again. People deserve more than one chance because everyone makes mistakes somewhere in their lives. And it's kind of like how Elon Musk kind of had this allegation where he offered to buy someone a horse because he sexually assaulted someone. I don't believe that allegation, but the allegation's out there. Elon himself denies it. But rumors like that, plus other Elon Musk actions and opinions, people don't like Elon. A lot of people don't. And as every Elon fan now has to say before they say anything positive about Elon, of course you don't agree with all of Elon Musk's opinions. That would be insane. I think he's obviously way too optimistic about the full self-driving timeline. He should just say it's going to come in 2026 or 2027, not just say, oh, it's coming later this year. This is all I really want to say on Ja Morant. I'm still going to enjoy him as a basketball player. I just think he is so special on the court. Ever since I put on that Murray State game on ESPN Plus a couple years ago, I was just wowed. The way he was just having fun on the court, dancing after shooting like 5 straight threes and making them, it was just, his athleticism for dunking. He has pretty good dribbles, the way he could just fit himself into tight spaces and just dominate the paint as someone who's like 6 feet tall. It's impressive. And there was a quick second there in the midst of all this controversy that John Morant slipped to my number 2 favorite player in the NBA. Desmond Bane became my number 1 because I watched the whole 1 hour Desmond Bane video, and he seems like just a really good guy. Nothing too crazy, no bad rumors about him at all, just nice and steady. And he seems positive and happy. And I like Bane. I like Bane as a personality. And hope Ja could fix up his mistakes, learn from the past, and just move forward and improve.
And say, we're going to have to run through them.
Because he's fine in the West.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West. A more locked in team, I can say number 1. Obviously, starting with me, being more locked in, paying attention to detail. You're going to see a team that's going to come out and play hard, for a full 48 minutes. And I feel like that's been our identity, this whole time. And just can't wait to be back to, be out there with them and go to battle with them. Like I said before, we know what our ultimate goal is, and that's to win a championship.